Welcome to the True Assassins podcast. Glad you could join us for another murder investigation.
Always happy to delve into these fascinating cases.
Today we're going to be looking at two stories from Orlando Madsbrine's True Assassins.
Excellent choice. Some truly captivating cases in there.
And I know you're really into those moments where it's like, aha, didn't see that coming.
Oh, absolutely. Those twists and turns, that's what keeps me coming back for more.
Well, these stories definitely deliver on that front. And what's really interesting, at least to me, is how these assassins end up, well, kind of becoming victims of their own methods.
Yeah, the poetic justice angle, right?
Exactly. It's like their own cunning plans backfire on them in the most unexpected ways. Talk about karma, huh?
You could definitely say that. There's a sort of dark symmetry to it all. The very tools and techniques they use to eliminate their targets end up being their own undoing.
It's almost like, I don't know, like they're trapped in this deadly cycle they created themselves.
Very interesting point. It really makes you think about the nature of cause and effect, doesn't it?
For sure. But let's not get too philosophical just yet. We've got some killer stories to dissect.
Right. Let's dive in.
Okay. So first up is a case called Bitter Finish.
Ooh, sounds intriguing already.
Right. So picture this. A small town, quaint, charming, the kind of place where everyone knows everyone else's business.
Ah, those small-town dynamics.
Yeah.
Always a breeding ground for secrets and rivalries.
Exactly. And at the heart of this town is a baker, Evelyn. She's got this reputation for making the most delicious, mouth-watering treats.
The kind that just melt in your mouth.
Oh, yeah. But here's the twist, and this is a big one. Evelyn has a dark secret. She's been using her baking skills to eliminate her competition.
Whoa, hold on. How is she doing that? Slipping extra sugar into their dough?
Not quite. It's way more sinister than that. We're talking cyanide.
Cyanide in her
Yeah.
baked goods.
Yep. Cyanide-laced jam, to be precise. Hidden inside her seemingly innocent cakes and pastries.
Wow, that's cold. And clever, I guess, in a twisted kind of way.
Right. It's all designed to look like natural causes. Heart attack, maybe a stroke. Who would suspect a delicious pastry?
Well, that's true. People usually associate sweet treats with comfort and happiness, not, death. It's quite a contrast, isn't it?
Definitely. But yeah, that's Evelyn's modus operandi, using the very thing she's known for, her baking, as a weapon.
So who was this particular target that had her whipping up a batch of poison jam?
Her name was Margaret, new baker in town. And she was really starting to gain a following. People were raving about her pastries, and that was a direct threat to Evelyn's dominance.
Ah, so it's a classic case of jealousy and fear of losing her place at the top. Makes sense.
Absolutely. And the weapon Evelyn chooses for Margaret, it's almost poetic in a way. She bakes this beautiful sponge cake decorated with these delicate piped roses.
That's lovely. I can almost picture it.
Right. But inside, hidden within those layers of sweetness, is that deadly cyanide-laced jam.
It's like a beautiful facade concealing something truly sinister, like a wolf in sheep's clothing.
Perfect analogy. And that brings us to the first big aha moment of the story.
Okay, on the edge of my seat, what happens?
So Evelyn finishes baking this lethal cake. It's late, she's exhausted, probably running on fumes. She gets home, and you know how it is when you've been working with food all day. Sometimes you just crave a little taste, right?
Oh, totally. It's like being surrounded by temptation all day. It's bound to get to you at some point.
Exactly. And that's exactly what happens to Evelyn. She spots a leftover slice of that same poisoned cake sitting on her counter.
Uh-oh. That's not good.
Not good at all. She's tired, she's hungry, and that cake is right there, beckoning her. And keep in mind, she's so focused on getting this cake to Margaret, she's not even thinking about the poison anymore.
It's like she's compartmentalized it, separated herself from the danger.
Exactly. So without a second thought, she grabs a fork and takes a bite.
Oh, man. This is where it all goes wrong, isn't it?
You got it. The first bite, it's probably pure bliss. The soft sponge, the sweet jam. But then she takes another bite, and that's when she notices it.
Notices what? What's wrong?
There's this weird metallic tang on her tongue. Something's off.
Oh, no. I bet that's the cyanide.
Yep. The taste of her own deadly scheme literally coming back to haunt her.
Wow. That must have been a terrifying moment, going from enjoying a piece of cake to realizing you've just poisoned yourself.
Absolutely. The fork slips from her hand, the blood drains from her face. She frantically searches for an explanation, her eyes darting around the kitchen. And then she sees it, the box the cake came in, the label with Margaret's name on it sitting right there on her own counter.
It's like a horror movie, isn't it? The slow, creeping realization that she's become the victim of her own plot.
You nailed it. It's pure horror. In that instant, she understands. The cake she was going to use to eliminate her rival, the very instrument of her carefully crafted plan, is now her own executioner.
That's some seriously messed up irony right there.
It doesn't get much more ironic than that. And as the poison starts to work its way through her system, she stumbles towards a mirror, almost like she can't believe what's happening to her. And as she looks at her reflection, she sees something truly chilling.
What does she see? What's in the mirror?
The faces of her previous victims, their twisted expressions, the shock, the pain, all mirrored back at her.
Oh, wow. That's heavy. Like she's finally confronting the true horror of what she's done.
Exactly. A final brutal moment of reckoning. And then it's over. She collapses onto the floor, surrounded by crumbs from the poison cake, the very symbol of her ambition and her downfall.
It's like the cake itself is mocking her, even in death. A reminder of her twisted scheme and how it ultimately consumed her.
And in a way, the book suggests a sort of fitting afterlife for Evelyn. They call it the baker's hell.
What's the baker's hell?
Well, imagine an eternity spent in a kitchen, forced to bake and taste every single one of her poison creations, over and over again.
Oh man, that's rough. But I guess it fits in a twisted way. A kind of poetic justice served up on a silver platter.
Right. Okay, so now let's move on to our second case from True Assassins. This one's called Fatal Beauty. And let me tell you, it's just as twisted as the first one.
Okay, lay it on me. What's Fatal Beauty all about?
This time we're dealing with Sophia, a celebrity makeup artist. On the surface, she's all glamour and beauty, making people look their best, but underneath, there's a darker side to her talents.
Sounds intriguing. What kind of darker side?
Well, she's got this secret knack for crafting, let's call them lethal beauty products. She's basically turned cosmetics into weapons.
Cosmetics? Really? Like lipstick and eyeshadow? How deadly can those be?
You'd be surprised. Sophia's specialty was poisoned foundation. Imagine that, putting on your makeup and unknowingly sealing your fate.
Whoa, that's messed up. But I guess it makes sense. Makeup is applied directly to the skin. It's the perfect way to deliver a toxin without raising too much suspicion.
Exactly, and Sophia was a master at making it look natural. No sudden dramatic deaths here. Her poison foundation caused a slow, subtle decline that mimicked a natural illness. Doctors would be baffled.
It's chilling how calculated it all is. It's like she's playing a long game, letting her victims suffer over time.
Yep. So in this particular case, her target was an aging actress, someone she was actually working on for a big charity gala.
So the actress was a client. That's bold.
Oh, yeah. Sophia had no qualms about getting up close and personal with her victims, and her motive. It was all about preserving a certain image of youth and beauty, twisted as it sounds.
Wait, so she was killing people to, like, maintain some kind of standard of beauty?
That's the gist of it.
Oh.
She saw aging as this ugly thing, something to be eradicated, and she was using her skills to do just that. Pretty messed up, right?
It's more than messed up. It's disturbing. Like, she's trying to control something that's completely natural, inevitable even.
Yeah.
It says a lot about her mindset, doesn't it?
Oh, for sure. It's a total perversion of her craft, and I guess her own insecurities too. But here's where things take another ironic turn.
Hit me with it. What happens?
Picture this. It's the night of the gala. Sophia's backstage, surrounded by makeup, brushes, the whole works. Everything's set. Her poison foundation is ready to be applied to the actress.
This is the moment of truth, right?
Exactly. But just as she's about to apply the foundation, another client, some socialite I guess, bursts into the room needing a last-minute touch-up. Total chaos ensues.
Oh, I can imagine the scene. Stress levels through the roof.
Oh, yeah, it's a madhouse.
Yeah.
Sophia's rushing around, trying to keep everyone happy, and in all the commotion, she makes a fatal mistake.
What kind of mistake?
She grabs the wrong container, the one with the poison foundation, and in her haste, she applies it to herself.
To herself. Oh no, I see where this is going.
Yep. The makeup artist, obsessed with perfection, accidentally poisons herself with her own creation. The irony is almost too perfect, isn't it?
It's like something out of a Greek tragedy. Talk about a cruel twist of fate.
Couldn't have said it better myself. So there she is, Sophia, standing there in front of the mirror, and slowly the realization dawns on her.
I bet the wrong shade of foundation was the first clue. Something a makeup artist would notice right away.
Right. And then the horror of knowing what she's just done. No antidote, no going back. Just this slow, agonizing death approaching. She tries to call for help, but it's too late.
Wow. Just imagine the panic, the desperation in those final moments. alone, surrounded by the tools of her trade, the very things that brought her success and ultimately led to her demise.
It's a powerful image, isn't it? And to make it even more ironic, they find her later, slumped over in her chair, surrounded by makeup brushes and palettes. A tragic, almost poetic tableau.
So the actress, the intended target, did she?
So she's fine. Probably went on to steal the show at the gala, completely oblivious to the drama that had just unfolded backstage.
Wow. That's a whole other layer of irony. Sophia's death becomes this insignificant footnote, a minor mystery, while her intended victim lives on, totally unaware.
Talk about adding insult to injury, huh? But yeah, the ultimate irony for Sophia, the thing that must have haunted her in those last moments, was the realization that she was killed by her own creation. Death by a fatal brushstroke, you could say.
Her own obsession with beauty became her downfall. It's like the story itself is a cautionary tale, isn't it?
Absolutely. It's like a dark mirror reflecting our own vanities and the lengths we go to for the sake of appearances.
I like that. A dark mirror.
So, what do you think? I know you love those aha moments, and these cases definitely deliver on that, right?
Oh, they're full of surprises. And what really gets me is how they both highlight the dangers of trying to control everything. Both Evelyn and Sophia thought they could manipulate situations, eliminate threats, but ultimately their own actions backfired on them in the most unexpected ways.
It's almost like there's a lesson in there somewhere, right? About the limits of control and the unintended consequences of our choices.
Exactly. And it's a chilling reminder that sometimes the things we create, the very tools we use to assert power, can turn against us in the most ironic and deadly ways.
Food for thought, huh? Well, there you have it, folks. Two chilling tales from the world of true assassins, where the line between beauty and danger, between creation and destruction, becomes blurred in the most unsettling ways.
It's a reminder that even in the darkest corners of human behavior, there's a strange kind of poetry at play.
If you're as hooked on these twisted tales as we are, be sure to rate and follow the True Assassins podcast. We've got a whole arsenal of addictive cloak and dagger stories waiting to be uncovered. Until next time, stay safe out there, and remember, karma can be a real killer.